It's a football Saturday in the SEC. Here is the starting lineup. The man with the golden voice, sports savant, Kip Keefer. One of Birmingham's all-time most multi-talented, iconic broadcasters, Tony Curry. Four-time champion Paul Feinbaum show caller contributor, the legend. The illustrious First Lady of SEC football, Terry Quillian. Award-winning national sports handicapper from Las Vegas, Case Keefer. And now, let's talk football.
Welcome back to the starting lineup along with Kip Keefer. I'm Tony Curry, and looky. Look who just dropped in. Yeah!
Awesome.
Kip Keeper in the house, baby! Kip Keeper in the house. Tony Curry, and there is Taylor Hicks.
Is that your? Was this your first musical guest?
We've had a musical guest, but no one's ever performed before.
No one's ever performed.
So this is the first musical instrumentalist.
Absolutely.
First thing.
That's great.
You know, I was asking you too, because you've obviously done a million of these type of appearances, and I thank you for coming in. You've been a friend of mine for 20, 25 years, and I know how busy
You're in the starting lineup, Taylor.
Exactly. Yeah. But a lot of times I imagine people are always asking you to play music. And I find that most people who are musicians, they don't want to play when they come on. They're like, no, I'm good, because I don't know if it's the setup or they want to play a particular song, but I mean, but you always bring the harp with you, you're good to go.
You know, this thing, it's funny, you know, having this thing around, it's a lot easier to be able to play. It's not like toting a bass drum or something. And you know, if you play it, you know, some of the TV stations I go to and stuff, it's like the Pied Piper. You know, people are like, you know, what the hell is going on? So this has always been handy. You know, I first picked it up at the Bessemer Flea Market, and I don't suggest picking up harmonicas and learning how to play them
or putting your lips on anything from that.
Yeah, so but that's how I learned. That's how I started, and this thing's been handy, and it's helped me along the way for sure.
Hey, before we get into some things this just crossed my mind, I wanted to ask you, because you used to play a place called Oasis downtown Birmingham, and you played a multitude. But I wanted to bring up, I don't know if you know this, but the Quest just closed. Birmingham set that down, and Wesley's Booby Trap is on sale. It's on sale for just about $500,000. I can pony up maybe 10 or 20 of that. I thought maybe. I just want you to briefly talk about it, because you play the Floribama, you play all the great places, but just talk about some of the wonderful. I don't say Oasis is seedy by any stretch, but it's an after-hours kind of place. But some of the places where you really cut your teeth.
Oasis was and still is a wonderful live music venue here in town. And it's just got, you know, after a while, it's just got that historic. It's just old, and all of that music and all of that. I mean, we used to go in the Oasis and you could smoke, you know, and all of that soaks up into the wood, and you know, I still, you know, pop into the Oasis and play, and you know, and Marty's obviously was one of my favorite places to play. Norm's, you know, Dave's,
Upper Decks.
You know, you know, Marty's for me was you know, that was kind of the late night place that everybody aspired to play. I played the Nick, I played the Nick a few times, and so you know, it's amazing that even if you ask the Red Hot Chili Peppers about the Nick, they'll tell you. Yeah, they played the Nick.
They did play the Nick.
You know, I mean that's and you think about all of these legendary bands that you see that travel the world and stuff. I mean, a lot of these bands still. They've grown up in the circuit in the South, you know, and have played a few bars, and obviously there's a couple of really historic, legendary bars here in Birmingham that are musical clubs that are really synonymous with breaking careers and helping really legendary bands along the way.
Well, I want to tell you how honored I am to be able to say to you directly what I've thought for so many years. You know, this is a sports show. It's about college football. I'm a sports guy. But there's a lot of sports correlations to this guy sitting next to me right now because, you know, again, I've seen guys make 40-foot putts to win the Masters. I've seen kickers and quarterbacks make unbelievable plays to win the Super Bowls. Three-point shots at the buzzer that are impossible. Walk-off homers in the World Series. But what you did on American Idol back in the day coming up with the premier performance probably in the history of that show, Living for the City, which is such an interesting song choice to start with. It's like calling a double reverse pass in a football game, and you nailed it. And I want to tell you, from a sports standpoint, I put that right up at the top of the list of the most clutch performances I've ever seen, and I applaud you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I've talked to Coach Saban a couple of times, and it's when you're around coaches like that, you try to figure out something that you have in common. And I've talked to these coaches of football and and basketball too, but American Idol is like a season of college football. Mm-hmm. You have to win every week.
Yeah.
If you don't win every week, you go home.
You're a trunk slammer.
And that's something that you have to prepare every week. And for me, I was just ready. I was the oldest, and still the oldest American Idol contestant. I guess when I got in line to audition in Las Vegas, everybody was asking me where my kids were that were auditioning. But that's such a blessing. I obviously Tony, that I spent a lot of years cutting my teeth in the South.
Yeah.
And I've had the support of Alabamians for a long time. I always like to say that Alabamians will let you know if you do 3 things. That's cook, throw a football, and sing. Mm-hmm. And so that, luckily for me, I was supported by the state of Alabama and went on to win American Idol.
It's hard to believe that was 18 years ago, which is really hard to believe. And you mentioned Living the City, and then, of course, you had your stay out at Bally's in Las Vegas. And I was telling Kip, I've told him numerous times we do a show together, top 5 concerts of all time was this guy right here, Taylor Hicks at Bally's. I had a great buzz going on. I think I'd been up for like 3 days. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm with my father, for God's sakes. I'm with one of my best friends on stage in Vegas, and he made my dad feel like Wayne Newton. It was just a wonderful one. It was one of the best shows, and it was because it was so good. But you started your set with that song, and you did like a 14 or 15 minute version of this thing. It just went on and on and on. It was fantastic. It was great.
I appreciate that.
One more question on that. In that moment, because I went back and watched it on YouTube last night because I just relived it. But in that moment, did you know right when you wrapped that up that you had just absolutely nailed that?
There were a couple of times on the show where I knew that I'd performed the songs well. Obviously I had the help of Stevie Wonder was my mentor.
That's amazing.
Which was an unbelievable mentorship on that show, on that season at that time. And there was some historic television being made. Idol was the only game in town. It was just a strictly singing competition. There was no acoustic, you couldn't hide behind a guitar. I mean, you had to sing your butt off, and if you didn't, like I said, it's back to the grind.
Taylor Hicks joins us here on the starting lineup. You never knew he was going to stop by. We only have a couple minutes left. I know Suicide Prevention Month is going on in September. You got a special gig coming up you want to talk about?
Playing Sam's Fest in Valley Head up in Fort Payne, October 15th. They got a big group of bands, and I'm headlining that show. And then obviously the Lyric Theater show that I usually do, where I'm going to do Rod Stewart again.
You're going to do it again?
I've done Rod Stewart in about 3 or 4 years. Tickets are on sale now at Lyric Theater.
Well, Rod's not doing Rod anymore, so someone's got to do Rod.
I don't think Rod knows if he's doing Rod anymore, but I'm going to do Rod December 20th at the Lyric Theater. It's obviously the partnership here at ABC 3340 is Toys for Tots, and that's going to be December 20th.
Give your website, how people can find you, buy your music.
TaylorHicks.com.
A few months ago.
TaylorHicks.com, official Taylor Hicks on Instagram. You can Google me, just don't Google me that much.
Will the Harp take us to break, man? Yeah, baby.
Y'all have a fun Saturday.
Stay right where you are. We're going to get to college football, and Taylor is going to venture into the Legend Cave. Don't miss that.
Welcome back to the starting lineup. We couldn't do without a great sponsor, Skip. Before we get to the Grand Marquee here, Teresa Autry, fantastic work at myexit.co, Exit Realty of Birmingham. She does wonderful work. Woodhouse Day Spa. We've had Stuart Rome on the show many times. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Spy for Rent. If you need any kind of surveillance, you need anyone to be looking, spying on anything, spy4rent.com. And of course, Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. Give us that Grand Marquee.
The marquee matchups for this week starts with two matchups between ranked teams, the Tennessee Volunteers and the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman. The first ever SEC game for Oklahoma. It should be a barn burner. You've also got a ranked matchup with Oklahoma State and Utah playing today. Both of those teams in the top 20. Arkansas and Auburn have a showdown down on the plains. And the other game in the Big House, which more looks like a dilapidated shack so far this year, it is USC, the Trojans, making their Big Ten debut against the Michigan Wolverines in a game that they absolutely must win to stay relevant as defending national champs. Tony, what gets your attention in our matchups?
You talk about a lot of those debuts, that Big Ten debut, it's hard to believe that USC and Michigan
in the
could be
Big
that.
Ten.
And that game opened up Michigan 10 before the season started. Now
Yeah.
USC has gone to 6.
That's a pretty big swing.
It has moved 16 points. But I got to go with that Josh Heupel Bowl, man. I think that game's going to be unbelievable. Tennessee and Oklahoma. Tennessee has looked not only fantastic on offense, but defensively as well. They're averaging 64 points a game. They're giving up 4 points a ball game. Oklahoma's looked good. They're 1-2 against the spread, but we have not seen this Oklahoma offense like we see. Only 2 guys coming back. Quarterback's one of those positions, but we've not seen that Oklahoma offense like we'd like to see. I'm looking at that 57.5, and normally when you put 2 powerhouses together, I'd want to say the over. I have a feeling they're going to have to feel each other out a little bit, but I think that is going to be the game of the day, Tennessee, Oklahoma. You?
I had Tennessee right kind of in that next tier in the SEC behind Georgia, Texas, Alabama when the season started. Now people are talking like Tennessee should be at the top of the upper tier. Yeah. We're going to see if that is really the case. Yes, they blew out NC State, who was a favored team going to the season. In the game, Tennessee was the favorite, but Tennessee just completely annihilated them. That was their one test, but this is going to be a different story. How fired up do you think people in Norman, Oklahoma are going to be for the first SEC game, a number 6 ranked team in? This is going to be a fantastic football game.
Welcome to the SEC, right?
That's right. I can't wait, and we're going to have these kind of situations every week going through the season. Let's see what Legend has on his mind about the marquee matchups.
The marquee matchups, baby. I got the Nick Saban of pressure washing Brandon here with me. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Legend. Doing good, brother.
You know it. If there's a marquee matchup today, if we was going against anybody, we'd be ruling, baby. But the matchup I'm looking at today is Auburn and Arkansas. I got a hog and I got a team on the brink of going over the edge. Who's going to win? We don't know. But I'm excited to whoever loses, I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to tell you who's going to win that in my best bet and dog of the week.
There's going to be another big marquee matchup Saturday evening in Norman, Oklahoma, as the Sooners make their SEC debut. I'm sure they're going to be rocking and rolling. Everybody's going to be super excited out there in the palace on the prairie. But all the emotion's not going to be on the Oklahoma side because they're facing the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers, coached by Josh Heupel, the same Josh Heupel that was the quarterback for the 2000 Oklahoma National Championship team, and also the same Josh Heupel that Bob Stoops fired as offensive coordinator in 2014. So I'm expecting plenty of fireworks Saturday night in Norman.
Thank you. This is certainly an intriguing set of marquee games. I think we're going to learn a lot from Oklahoma and Tennessee. Is Oklahoma as bad as they've looked recently? And is Tennessee as good? And even USC Michigan. Can Michigan kickstart this offense, get a little more creativity now with Alex Orji taking over as the starter? But of all these games, one stands out above the rest. Utah versus Oklahoma State. All offseason, these were the 2 favorites to win the Big 12 Conference by the betting market. It's shaken up a little bit with some early season returns, but make no mistake, whoever wins this game at Boone Pickens Stadium today is going to be in the driver's seat to get to the Big 12 championship game. I don't know who it's going to be. For like the umpteenth straight year in college football, we're on Cam Rising injury watch. If it's as little as they say it is and that throwing hand is okay, Utah should win this game. But if he's even slightly diminished, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an Oklahoma State upset today.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy.
The Cage with Legend. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
The Cage.
I
with
feel
Legend.
like David Chappelle's show.
Oh, baby.
Come in, you know what time it is here in the Legend Cave, baby, where few men have ever stepped. Kip Keefer, Tony Curry, Ronnie Van Zant, Tupac, and who else but the legend himself, Mr. Taylor Hicks. Welcome.
Soul Patrol.
Woo, the Soul Patrol. The Blues Brothers, the real Blues Brothers are back, baby. We back, baby. Man, we talking, we loving music, but we love that Alabama Crimson Tide, brother. And we put a whooping of Wisconsin last week. We took that Badger, Taylor, we swirled him around, brother. You talking about some soup? Talking about some soup? We kicked that Badger plum out of the state, baby. How'd you feel last
I
Saturday?
feel good about it. I also feel good about Georgia, too, being at home.
Ooh, hit that music again, bro. Hit that music again. There it is.
We ain't going to be playing the blues in Tuscaloosa.
Come on, bro. Hit it again. Hit it again.
We're going to be playing the blues in Tuscaloosa because we got a chance to beat Georgia at home, baby.
Come on now. You know what time it is, Georgia Bulldogs. We just dealt with Wisconsin. We taking a week off. Me and Taylor down on the beach. We leaving loving large here in the Legend Cave, man. We living large. We partying. Nobody thought we'd be 3-0. We was through with DeBoer. What do you think about DeBoer, brother?
I like DeBoer. I think DeBoer's going to make it happen. I think DeBoer's inherited a lot of great talent. But I also think DeBoer's got the element of surprise this year, and he's going to be able to surprise some coaches that were used to working for Saban.
Uh-oh, you heard it from the man.
He's got the element of surprise that say, you don't have to study on Saban. You got to study a brand new coach, and that's DeBoer.
But I did notice when Alabama got in trouble in the South Florida game, Nick Saban came out of the booth down on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason he's got an office up there. There's a reason he got an office up there, bro.
He can still crack that whip, man.
Yeah, he's still the Godfather, but DeBoer, we loving what we see. What do you think about Jalen Milroe? I'm thinking 40-40, man. I'm thinking 40 touchdown passes, 40 touchdown runs. What do you think?
He's got it. I think he's got, I think he's at least third or fourth right now in the Heisman race. If he keeps playing well, Bama keeps playing well, Bama keeps playing good defense, Alabama keeps scoring, Milroe's going to have a chance to win the Heisman.
Man, I like it. This dude is a legend for a reason. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what time it is in the Legend Cave, baby. We clouded up in here. We clouded the dogs coming to town next week. Taylor Hicks in the Legend Cave. The starting lineup blowing up.
And let me tell you something. Simon Cowell ain't got nothing on the Legend.
Come on, you know it, Simon Cowell. You know it. You know it. I give you the thumbs down, Simon Cowell.
Can't handle the cage.
They can't handle the cage. They can't do it, baby. All right, brother, one more question before we get out of here, brother. One more question. I know you're a Ronnie Van Zant fan.
Yep.
Sweet home Alabama.
Yep.
Growing up, did you ever dream of being the lead singer for Leonard Skinner? Did you ever?
I always thought, that was one of my favorite bands of all time. And obviously, Damon Johnson that plays with them now, that's a legendary guitarist in Birmingham. I mean, that's our band. That's our adopted state song. I mean, that's who we are, and that's one of Legend's favorite people and poets and musicians in the world, baby.
Ronnie Van Zant.
Sweet home Alabama.
Favorites. Sweet home, baby. Play us out of here, Taylor.
Simon
Cave. We coming for you, Georgia.
Simon Cowell ain't got nothing on Legend.
We out.
Going to be heading back out of the desert with Case Kiefer in just a few minutes. He's been on fire. We have not had a losing week yet on the starting lineup. And as a matter of fact, if you want to check out our website, k4wins.com, k4wins.com. We're 26-12 with free plays and 59-35 overall. You're winning some big-time jack if you're on that website, k4wins.com. And again, special thanks to myexit.co. It's Exit Realty of Birmingham. Of course, the fine folks at the Woodhouse Day Spa, Spy, For Rent, and Southern Precision Staffing doing fantastic work, and big sponsors here of the starting lineup.
We come to you every Saturday morning at this time, but if you're really fired up for a day of the SEC, you can tune in at 8 a.m. on WJOX 94.5. Kip and Terry Game Time. We have plenty of opportunity to get you ready for everything happening around the country and particularly in the SEC. And Sunday mornings from 9 to 11, it is the morning after. It's our 8th season. we give you the first chance to respond to what you saw on the field on Saturday. 2 great shows. If you ever miss any of our programs, including the starting lineup, go to kqshows.com and you have everything at your fingertips, links to every program that we do. And now, without further ado, let's go out to Vegas and get the heaters from Case Kiefer.
Hey, it's Case Kiefer back again in Las Vegas. I'm the assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media, which includes Las Vegas Sun, a longtime sports betting writer and sports bettor myself. And we are rolling here now on this segment, the Vegas Heaters, back-to-back 3-1 weeks. That brings the record on the season as a whole in this segment to 7-4. Now, if you take all my plays from all the segments on the show so far, 12-8. I prefer the former 63% to the 60%, but I will take both of them. Let's keep rolling at this pace, and we will have a big year. Now, as I've said before, I like to make a little bit of a theme for this segment each week because it's so hard. I'm making so many bets to whittle it down. So this week we're going to go in college football with an early slate game, a midday slate game, and a late slate game. Let's get underway with the morning, and I swear I'm not being biased. I'm a University of Kansas graduate. I am taking the Jayhawks plus 2.5 in West Virginia this morning. Kansas has lost back-to-back games, but if you dive into the box scores or if you even watch these 2 games, it's kind of ridiculous that they lost them both. They had a positive post-game win expectancy, which is a measure of how often you should expect to win a game based on your production on a per-play basis. They had positive in both of those games, like 60% to beat Illinois, almost 90% to beat UNLV. They had bad fumble luck. They had some crazy high-leverage plays go against them. They lose both, but they have way better skill position players than West Virginia. I don't think they should probably even be an underdog in this game. I like Kansas to win outright, so I don't mind taking the plus 2.5, with Kansas. We will move from the morning to the afternoon, at least here in Vegas, where sorry, Georgia Tech, but you are becoming the official fade team of this show for me for some reason. I was all over Syracuse as an upset or in the best bet segment a couple weeks ago, and I like Louisville this week, laying 10 at the home formerly known as Papa John Stadium. The Cardinal, this is a great spot for them. Who have they played so far? Austin Peay, Jacksonville State, and a bye week. Well, don't overextend yourself, Cardinal. Georgia Tech, meanwhile, has run through a gauntlet. They did have a bye week last week, but Louisville has been getting ready for this game all offseason. I think they have a really good team if they stay healthy. Their first string is ACC championship caliber material. Georgia Tech has made some upgrades, but they're not quite at that level. Laying 10, that's not enough. It should probably be 14. Give me Louisville minus 10. And for the late game, a big thing about sports betting that I always harp on to people is you can't hold grudges. You got to forget one week, move on the next, and that is what is a lesson here and why we are going to land on the Washington Huskies, who let us down in the Apple Cup last week. Washington State won. Congratulations to them. I know it was a big moment for the program after they're left in this kind of conference purgatory. But it's another one where if you dive into the box score, it was really a lot closer. And I actually think Washington was the slightly better team. You saw some weird in-game management that went against them, some really bad play calls on a critical 4th down. They end up losing to Washington State. This week they host Northwestern, and the Wildcats have one fatal problem. They can't score. This offense is terrible. I still like Washington's quarterback, Will Rogers. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the nation, like I said last week. I just don't see how Northwestern is going to keep up. They have a good defense, but I feel like Washington's going to be good for 28, 30 points. There's no way Northwestern is getting to 20. So give me Washington minus 10, Louisville minus 10, and Kansas plus 2.5. And the last bonus, we've hit 2 of these in a row. The Monday Night Football play. I got to throw an NFL play in. Lay the 7.5 this week with the Bengals. I don't believe in the Washington Commanders at all. They got their one win last week. Congratulations. It's probably going to be their last one for a while. Probably the least talented defense in the NFL. And the offense has probably been a lot worse than it looks on the surface if you dive into the more advanced numbers. So Cincinnati minus 7.5 to log us off with the Monday Night Football special. Thanks for checking me out on Vegas Heaters. I get to do the honors again and kick off our best bet upset segment where I am an overtime loss by Jacksonville State away from being on a 4-game winning streak. But that's okay. 3-1 last 4, nothing to scoff at. Let's get 2 more. We're going to start with my upset. We're going to Big Ten country for this one where I like Minnesota to beat Iowa on the field. These are 2 great defenses, 2 offenses that are really sketchy, but I think at least Minnesota has another gear to reach with Max Brosmer, a quarterback, the former New Hampshire quarterback, who everyone wanted in the transfer portal this offseason. There's a reason everyone wanted him. He is going to guide the Gophers to a big win. And for my best bet, we are laying the lumber. Give me Sam Houston minus 15.5 hosting New Mexico State. I actually bet this at 11.5 earlier in the week. It's kept going up. I would bet it anywhere under 17. I think Sam Houston is the team to beat in the Conference USA. That's right. New Mexico State might have played Liberty close, but that's more of a reflection on Liberty being down than New Mexico State being up. Speaking of the Lone Star State, let's go there next and see what Terry's got for us.
Thanks, Case. My best bet is for the Tennessee Volunteers to defeat the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, Oklahoma. Now, I know that Josh Heupel's teams have not always been the strongest on the road, but I think they've got this one. Everybody talks about Oklahoma having a dominant defense, but really, when you look at the numbers, they don't stack up against the Tennessee defense. Oklahoma is allowing a little over 11 points per game. Tennessee's only allowing 5. And when you look at the offensive side, there's really no comparison there because Jackson Arnold's been struggling. His offensive line is not dominating at all. And on the Tennessee side, you've got Nico. Nobody can pronounce his last name, but he has been lighting it up. So I'm looking for the Volunteers to light them up on Saturday night.
Oh, my best bet dog pick of the week is real easy. I got this Auburn balloon that just kind of floated in here with me, and they take on the Hogs today, and the Hogs are getting 4 points. And let me tell y'all something down to my toes. The Hogs ain't gonna need them 4 points. Auburn balloon bust today. Take the Hogs on the money line and take them 4 points. Get your bills paid. Take that woman out. You heard it first from the legend. Now to another legend in Birmingham, Alabama, the great Tony Curry.
Legend, we have not had a losing week yet. We keep going 1-1. Sometimes we hit our upset, sometimes we hit our dog of the week. This week we're going to try to go 2-0 on both sides. I'm going to start with our upset. Dog of the week is going to win outright. I'm going to take BYU, undefeated 3-0 against the spread right now. They're taking on K-State, and you may remember I went against K-State last week with Arizona, a team that had the longest winning streak of 9 games in college football. They only put up a 7 spot, but I think Arizona, they turned the ball over way too much. Their offensive line was banged up really early in that ball game. K-State had them up against the ropes the entire ball game, but I think they're going to bounce back this weekend with a losing effort against BYU. I'm going to take them plus the 7.5. I think Jake Ratliff is going to be a wonderful job. Lassiter Robertson, this kid in Epps, is just a wonderful wide receiver from BYU. And then my game of the week, not my upset, my game of the week, I'm going to take those Memphis Dogs. They're doing fantastic.
Oh, man,
6-3 all time against Navy, 8-1 against the spread the last 9 times they played them. I'm going to take Memphis minus the points against Navy, the Shipman. What you got, man?
I like it. I'm going to go for my best bet, and I've got a group of mental health professionals just outside the door to treat me for saying this. But believe it or not, I'm taking the Florida Gators.
Whoa!
Florida is at Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby, who took over as coach there, has got a huge job on his hands because there's just no personnel in stock in Starkville. The trip to Stark Vegas for Florida is going to feel like the ultimate vacation because they're out of the pressure cooker of Gainesville. I think this team's going to relax. Some of their talent's going to come out. They're going to play so much better. They're giving Mississippi State 4 points, but I will cough those up because I think the Gators cruise today over there. And then for my upset of the week, this is a game that I think maybe should be reversed in terms of favorship. Coastal Carolina is hosting the Virginia Cavaliers. That looks like a little guy against a big guy, but Coastal is a serious program. They're catching 4 points at home. I think they beat Virginia outright playing in Conway, South Carolina, just on the shores of Myrtle Beach. Go Chanticleers. I like them over the Cavs today. So, Tony, that's it for this week. Another edition of the starting lineup.
Coming up next week, we'll have the UAB head coach. They're off this week. They got Navy next week, that team I'm going against. Trent Dilfer will join us, the head coach of the UAB Blazers, so he'll join us in here. And special thanks again to one Taylor Hicks for stopping by the starting lineup. We thank you. You never knew he was going to drop by. And see us again every single Saturday morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock, right here on ABC 3340.